Hello students, I'm Anita Abraham, Associate Professor of English. Welcome to the English classroom. This is video number 18. Today's English lesson is from semester 1 of the General English curriculum prescribed by Osmania University for students of BA, BCom, BSc and BBA. Today's topic is titled Group Discussion. If you like my video, please subscribe and press the bell icon so that you get notified of subsequent videos. Let's get started. Group discussion. What do we understand by group discussion? Group discussion or GD, it means exchange of views by participants on a given subject. The whole idea is to bring together a set of people on a common platform to share their ideas, thereby giving an opportunity to exhibit not only their knowledge but also to understand and exchange their viewpoints, their perspectives, their opinions and thoughts with other people. Some of the advantages of group discussion are you get a better understanding of the subject. It helps in problem solving. It improves our listening and builds our confidence. It enhances communication and interpersonal skills. It is a team building exercise. Group discussion helps in developing teamwork and also leadership qualities in people, which are extremely important in today's context. In the 21st century scenario, it is an essential skill. Working in a group helps people increase tolerance and respect towards each other, and also how to unanimously arrive at conclusions. So group discussion is an important skill that we need to imbibe, and it's an important activity that holds special importance in both academic and professional setup. On one hand, group discussion reflects the value of coexistence, motivation, tolerance, acceptance. When it's done in an academic scenario. On the other hand, group discussion is a key tool for recruiters who are hiring people for jobs. During the selection process, group discussion helps the hiring team to identify if the job applicant possesses the values which mirror the principles and the vision of the organization. Organizations today not only stress on the knowledge pool of the candidates, but also gives importance to the enthusiasm, adaptability in the workforce. So that is why group discussion is an important, tool, skill that you must imbibe, and it is important in academic circles, in academic institutions, as well as in the workplace or in the employment scenario. So let's look at group discussions in detail, and how would you define group discussion? It involves a group of people coming together to discuss a topic of common interest. The group is usually small. It can be anywhere between 5 to 10 ideally, but sometimes even 12. Okay. Groups should reach a consensus or a decision at the end of the discussion. It cannot be open-ended. All right. Uh, there are two types of group discussions, and we must be very clear about that. One is the problem solving group discussion, and the other is the group discussion for employment. And as students, you should practice both. The problem solving group discussion can be done in your academic scenario, when you are in class, when you are problem solving, when you are discussing with each other on a topic. So that is where the problem solving group group discussion will come. Or even in a workplace scenario, when the team is discussing to arrive at a solve a problem and arrive at a consensus and take a major decision. Then there is group discussion for employment. That is part of the selection process. Usually it is a three-stage process. First would be a written exam, then you would be shortlisted, and then there would be a group discussion, and then finally the interview. And at the entry level, and which all of you all will be at the end of your sixth semester, group discussion becomes an important part of the hiring, the placement process. So it is very important that you know what goes into the group discussion for employment and what goes into the group discussion in a problem solving scenario, which would be in the classroom, or even later at a later stage when you are employed. Okay, so let's look at what goes into the problem solving group discussion type. So that is genuine, because it has come out of an organic cause. There is a real reason why that group discussion is happening. Then there is team spirit, because everybody is working towards solving or coming to or solving a problem, or taking a major decision, coming to a consensus, and the group interest is given priority. So together you're working as a team and coming to a conclusion. Okay, so there is going to be a decision. There is something of consequence that's going to happen at the end of the group discussion. There is going to be a kind of problem solving that's going to happen. Advantages, disadvantages, pros, cons are going to be discussed. Different aspects are going to be looked at, and then a major decision is going to be taken. And then it is a problem solving group discussion type is cohesive. The members know each other. Okay, and it is a very harmonious group. They are working together. That is important. Okay, and often problem solving group discussion will have a leader, a team leader, who will lead the group discussion. And that's important. And this you can see when we do it in our college, when your teachers put you into groups and then give you a problem or a topic, and you all are discussing it and arriving at a consensus, solving the problem. Or even at a workplace, you're working in a team and you have a team leader, and together you all are working on a project and coming to some evolving it, developing it, and then coming to presenting it as a full fledged project, or discussing in a group. For example, while you're in a project, or while you're solving a problem, you run into issues, then you sit together, discuss it, and come to a consensus. Now, group discussion for employment is different, because it's a mock scenario. It is not genuine, it is created. Okay, it's an artificial setting. And here it is not team spirit so much as competition, because you are you want the job, and only if let's say there are 8 to 10 of you all in the group, maybe just 2 or 3 of you all will get picked up from the group. So there is a competitive spirit. You are at your fighting best, because you need that job, and you have to present yourself at, you must be quick, you must be smart, and you must be able to exhibit all your skills as much as possible, whether it is your communication skill, whether it's your critical thinking skill, whether it's your general knowledge, or whether it is your interpersonal skill. So there are it's a high stake what do you call group discussion. And so it's important that you exhibit all your skills, capabilities, and abilities in that 8 to 10 minutes that you are given. And also you have to, it is difficult, because you have to exhibit team spirit, team skills, your fighting fighting spirit you have to display. At the same time, you also have to assert your individuality. Okay, so it's a difficult situation. You're fighting spirit, you're asserting your individuality, and at the same time trying to carry the group along with you, show that you are a team player. You are displaying interpersonal skills also. That is, simultaneously you are exhibiting team skills and leadership qualities, so you're balancing. So that's a little difficult. It's a thin ice that you're walking on, and you need to display both. So that's why it's high stake, and that's why you get the job. And it is simulated, it is artificial, it is mock, it's not real. Okay, and it's not cohesive, it is not organic. Members know each other, don't know each other. Even if they know each other, at that time everybody is fighting for against each other. At the same time, showing a kind of camaraderie, showing your interpersonal skills, team skills. Okay, and there's a struggle for leadership, because the initiator, the one who displays leadership skills, gets more evaluated better. So the group discussion for employment is very different from the general problem solving group discussion that you see at the workplace or in academic circles. Now, what are some of the topics that could come up for group discussion? If it is for employment, then it would be knowledge related to the state, country, globe, politics, sports, science, trade, commerce, industries, technology, and it also could be an analysis of socio-economical, issues, logistics, statistics. It could be. But if it's in the academic or scenario, then it is related to your subject. If you're doing computers, if you're doing math, if you're doing physics, it's problem solving, zoology, botany, English. Whatever is related, it would be related to your subject, and you would have a group discussion with your friends, and then you would come to a conclusion. If it's at the workplace, then it would be work related. It would be something that's related to the project that you're doing, or something that is related to your that has direct bearing to your work surroundings, or it would be related to that. Now, what should your presentation style be in group discussion? You should be clear, you should be concise in your expression, you should use short, precise sentences, you should speak slowly and audibly, you should be heard by everyone, and then use variation in tones and intonation. Okay, that's very, very important. When is it a question? When are you being assertive? Okay, when are you being polite? Everything should come through very, very clearly. Okay, otherwise, what happens is you may just not be effective, and then use hand gestures, positive gestures, not closed body language. So be careful of what your non-verbal communications are. What kind of signals are you sending to the group and to the evaluators? Maintain eye contact with members of your group, not with the evaluators who will be there if it is what do you call for an employment. But then if it is a problem solving group discussion with your classmates or at a workplace, then maintain eye contact with everybody in the group, smile, and your body language should always exhibit positive sign. So let's look at the structure of the group discussion. There would be a beginning, then the progress of the group discussion, and then there would be a conclusion. Okay, so we are talking about group discussion in the in the context of employment. So there would be a set of evaluators who would be sitting and evaluating your group discussion, how each member is performing. And so the person who begins or initiates the group discussion always gets extra points. Okay, by initiating the discussion, you will also get time, because you have started the initiation discussion, and till somebody starts speaking again, you have time, okay, and you have uninterrupted time to present your views, and because the others are still getting ready to present, so you have that. If you initiate the discussion, you have a lot of you get ample time to present your point, and you're the first one doing it. But you must remember that if you initiate, you should not stammer, you should not talk rubbish and present wrong facts. And also, if after if you're an initiator, you begin the conversation, you do get good, it is very impressive. But if a candidate does not say anything after initiating in a group discussion, after that you have nothing to contribute. You those initial brownie points that you got, or the marks that you got, doesn't stand, or doesn't have much value, because you give the impression that you have just started for the sake of starting, because everybody knows that the initiator is looked upon favorably by the evaluators. There are additional marks. So if you have initiated, it is also important that you contribute uh, 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 effectively during the discussion also. Just don't start and then keep quiet, okay? And the candidate who initiates has a major responsibility, and that is to set the group discussion in the correct perspective or framework. So initiate only if you have good knowledge, in-depth knowledge of the topic that is given to discuss. Don't just initiate for the start, for the sake of initiating. You can always join in second and contribute effectively. All right. To begin, if you are going to initiate, then here are some helpful phrases that will help make a good impression. Some of it is good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everyone. Let's begin the discussion. Let's get started. In my opinion, these are some of the starters that you could use. Does any one of you have any similar or other examples, ideas, points, or comments? When you have initiated and others have not joined in, to continue the discussion. That's also very important. There should not be a lull or a moment during the group discussion where nobody is talking. Then you should be able to fill in those gaps. Today we are here to discuss. The goal of our discussion is, or what do you think? That could be throwing it open for discussion. In my opinion, in my view, to start with, I would like to point out, well, I'd say it's a fact that if you have a quotation, or you have a fact, or you have some kind of statistics, you could begin that way. Then, one of the questions that students ask quite often is, what should you do if you don't understand the topic at all? So, I mean, it is possible that, you really don't know anything about the topic, or you're not very clear about the topic. The best thing would be, don't initiate the discussion. Be a good listener. Being an active listener is also very important. And then let two or three people contribute to the discussion, and immediately you will get a hang of the topic, and then you will be able to give a good response, okay? And then when the discussion, so that is that is how you begin. And then after that, the ongoing process, when the discussion is on, then you must come up with new ideas. You should not repeat what somebody else has already said, or take that idea that somebody has said and then develop it. Don't rephrase or paraphrase somebody else's idea, and try to gain support from others. Don't you agree? What do you have to say? And then when your viewpoint or your opinion is getting more reinforcement from others, that's a good thing. All right. And then build relationship through polite phrases, body language, and eye contact. So that interpersonal skill, non-verbal communication should happen, and you should send positive feelers so that people are with you. Okay, if a GD is going off track, try to bring it on the topic, and that's very important. Okay, so it often happens that you tend to lose focus, and then you're moving away from the topic. Then it becomes your responsibility to bring it back to focus. Okay, and that's also very important, whether it is in problem solving group discussions, or whether it is in a group discussion for employment. Also, let's also consider another important aspect of today's debate, that and bring it back, okay, to the group discussion. Okay, and then also sit with an attentive mind and mentally note the relevant points that are put forward by others. You should be totally focused. You cannot miss somebody else's points. You cannot, after 2 minutes present the same idea. And it's also important that in the end you need to sum up everything if you get an opportunity. So or sometimes after group discussions questions are asked, so you need to be aware of what is happening, the dynamic, the group dynamics. You should be totally involved in it and carefully listen to what other people's thoughts are, and keep an argument, example, or supportive statement, fact, example ready to participate in the discussion. Okay, and evaluators will observe your alertness and ability to think and act immediately. So you should be totally involved. The group dynamics is very important. Okay, when you are an active listener, when you are participating, when you are contributing, when you are leading the discussion, all this is very, very important. And you get notice for the ability to link and correlate to what others have said, new ideas that you have to contribute, and then also sustain participation. Okay, so you cannot say one thing and then just keep quiet. So these are three important things that you have to do. If you can, initiating the discussion is important. If you are not able to do it, you should participate sustainedly throughout. When okay, and the other is you must come up with new ideas, or have the ability to link and correlate what you are saying with what others have said. It should not be disjointed. Okay, and during the ongoing process, some of the phrases that you could use are, I feel the same way and I add that, or I have a different idea and say that. Okay, let me put it this way, or let me put it another way. I would like to add something here. This is the way I see it. We should, and you continue the discussion. A point I want to make is, and continue. Absolutely, that is, you're agreeing to somebody. I would go further and say, I'm certain that, continue the discussion. I feel strongly that, I think, whatever somebody has said, paraphrase, is a good idea, point. I'd go along with your idea, but would like to add, this is how you continue the discussion during the discussion. Okay, then you could, it's not always that you're agreeing, there could be disagreement also, and there should be, because it is a discussion. So there should be healthy argument. There could be pros and cons. There could be, you could disagree, there you could agree. There would be advantages, disadvantages. So then how do you politely disagree? I don't quite agree here, I think. I'm sorry, I can't agree. I would say that. Another way of putting it, I'm not convinced that, and whatever was said. Well, that's one way of looking at it, but and then you say what you feel. Instead, I think that is another way of politely disagreeing. I agree with you, but you have another viewpoint. It's a good point, but, and you put forward your viewpoint. I'm in total agreement with you about whatever was said, but we also have to consider and put your viewpoint forward. So it is polite, and there is no friction, there is no heated argument, and you have to continue the discussion. All right. And the conclusion of the group discussion is also very important. The person who is concluding needs to summarize all the points that was discussed in the group discussion in a nutshell. and only take, like, initiator has points, the one who concludes the discussion also has extra points, or the evaluators mark them, but only summarize if you have been following all the major ideas. Okay, and while concluding a group discussion, you should not add any new points. You can only talk about the points that was discussed during the group discussion, and then you should give equal weightage to all the points that was discussed. You cannot give more importance to your viewpoint or somebody else's. Of course, in a group discussion, high stake, if it's for employment, you should not give more importance to yours. It should be a balanced summary of what has happened during the group discussion. If someone has concluded the group discussion, do not contradict unless the conclusion has flaws or you have a vital point to add. For example, I have concluded the group discussion. You cannot jump in and then again conclude unless I have made some very major errors in concluding, or I have missed a very important point. Then you can politely say, I have this point to add, or can I add? And then that should be something absolutely that was missed by the person who has concluded. Just not because don't jump in that you also need to conclude. You should take the opportunity, and if you have missed it, then only if there is something that has been left out by the person who has summarized can you jump in, okay, and conclude. For concluding the group discussion, certain phrases that we could use is, I think we have exchanged our opinion on the topic, and now let's conclude, and you summarize whatever has happened during the group discussion, or let's sum up the discussion and go through all the major points without giving weightage or highlighting anyone's viewpoint. Balance, just summary of the discussion. And another way of doing it, as we have only a few minutes left, let me conclude the discussion. So that means you're showing your time management skills also, because sometimes they give you how much time you have, and then you have to jump in and at the right time and conclude the discussion. Okay, now let's look at some of the negative task roles in a GD. You should not do these things. These are no-nos in a group discussion. That is a disgruntled participant, that is someone who does not contribute to the GD. Okay, that gives a negative impression. Then the attacker, that's also a negative role. Somebody who's very, very aggressive and disapproves of everybody's opinion, all the time at loggerheads with everybody. There is a polite way of disagreeing. And then there is another negative task role, and that is of the dominator. Somebody who wants to take control of the group discussion and not letting others speak. And then, of course, there is the clown, someone who does not take the group discussion seriously and disrupts it by unnecessary jokes, or trying to dilute the whole thing by inappropriate humor. So avoid being the disgruntled non-participant, attacker, dominator, or clown. Okay, be a positive contributor to the group discussion. Make a positive impression not only on everybody in the group, but also the evaluators or people who are sitting through the group discussion and observing you. Now, another important thing is the difference between group discussion and a debate. A lot of people get confused. What is a group discussion and what is a debate? And then they think that it is the one and the same thing. We must be very clear that a debate is different from a group discussion. A group discussion is when people are sitting together and then discussing on a topic, okay, and considering all perspectives, okay. But a debate, there is a for and a to, or for and an against. So let's look at the difference first. In a debate, it's a formal method of argument where a stand has to be taken for or against. Okay, you cannot take both for and against. You either argue for or you argue against. But in a group discussion, all the opinions, all the perspectives, all the viewpoints are considered. Okay, in a debate, it's a win lose approach. Okay, so either you argue for and win, or you argue against and win. But in a group discussion, it's a win-win approach, because it's an exchange of ideas. And then finally, who presents their viewpoints well, who puts forward their opinions effectively and communicates their ideas, clearly, gets to win the group discussion. In a debate, speakers take turns to speak as specified. So we are, we cannot jump in a debate. So A speaks, then B speaks, then it goes like that, and then you have time, and then you speak. But in a group discussion, it is not structured. You can grab the opportunity, you can initiate, you can conclude, you can join in any time, you can speak for any amount of time. So a debate is structured, and it happens one person speaks, and then the next person speaks. But that is not how it happens in a group discussion. And then in a debate, there is you already have a preconceived opinion. There is a rigid opinion. You are arguing for that or against that. Okay, but in a group discussion, you can have a specific viewpoint or opinion, but also show openness, your tolerance, respect for other people's ideas. Okay, and a debate can become very heated, it can become argumentative, and it can become very negative. You see the debates in parliament all the time, don't you? So the parliament, what you see in the parliament is a good example of a debate on a particular bill or on a topic. But in a group discussion, a group discussion is what do you call, a tool which has positivity, because you are discussing ideas to come up with solution. It is to solve problems. It is to present your ideas, your viewpoints and opinion, and there is a solution, or there should be something positive should emerge from it at the end of it. Of course, in a debate too, but then a group discussion never should become negative. It should not become argumentative and heated. Okay, then of course. In the debate, you are defending your opinion or viewpoint or perspective, and attacking the other person's viewpoint, opinions, and ideas. But in a group discussion, you are actively listening to other people's opinions, viewpoints, and ideas, reasoning with them, or sharing your opinions and ideas. So it's a more, congenial, positive atmosphere in which a group discussion happens. All right. And then another major difference is, debates can be used to judge your communication skills, how effectively you're putting forward your idea. And if you are a good, effective communicator, then you will win the debate, and you can make major decisions and changes. Okay. Here, what happens in a group discussion is, yes, it can be used to judge your communication skills, but also various other aspects of your personality, like your interpersonal skills, your leadership quality, your team skills, your critical thinking skills. The group discussion helps evaluate the entire personality, or rather showcase the entire personality of a person. Okay, so how do you communicate and conduct for a successful group discussion? Very important is the posture, the body language, eye contact, and like I said earlier, if possible, always try to initiate the group discussion in an effective and positive manner. There should be clarity of speech. You should be audible. You should try display leadership qualities. Okay, and when the group deviates from the topic or discussion becomes heated, try to be the mediator. Okay, appreciate and encourage other people's viewpoint, and that doesn't happen in a debate. Okay, so that's very important in a group discussion. And then also give an emphasis on quality rather than quantity. Okay, don't speak for a long time, don't hog the discussion. Instead, what you should do is crisply, concisely present your point, and pass it around, take opinions of others, contribute to the discussion, keep it going. That would be interesting. And always support your opinions, ideas, viewpoints with facts, figures, examples, illustrations. So no, it becomes very dynamic, and it becomes very vibrant. And remember, in a healthy discussion, there will be disagreement, there will be questioning, there will be reasoning, there will be new ideas, and you should be open to all that. And that doesn't happen in a debate, but it happens in a group discussion. Be assertive, but don't be aggressive. You must maintain your individuality. You must put forward your opinion, but don't be aggressive. Okay, and also be very careful not to articulate any gender, caste, class bias. We must be inclusive, and we should not display any kind of prejudices based on gender, caste, or class. And don't ask questions in the GD for the sake of asking questions. Okay, don't do that. Don't be the irritant. You should be the one who is organically carrying the group discussion forward, and don't directly negate another person's viewpoint. That's why I gave you all those polite disagreement phrases. And don't touch, be physical with others. You must be maintain your distance, physical distance from each other, and your body language should convey positivity. The non-verbal signals and cues that you convey should be the one one which is radiating positivity and openness. And the other important thing is, don't block others' views. When the discussion becomes gains momentum, and people are all into the discussion, and it is heating up a little, you tend to physically come forward, or move your body, but don't block other people's view. It is bad manners, and it is not acceptable. Okay, so maintaining that posture and maintaining your calm is very, very important. Don't point fingers, no personal anecdotes as data. Nobody wants to know your story. It has to be facts and figures. There should not be any emotional outbursts. There should not be any sarcasm, teasing, pulling anybody's leg, no screaming and shouting, and no standing up and speaking. You are sitting down and discussing, and you will do it like a lady or a gentleman. And what does GD help evaluate? Okay, let's look at some of the skills that GD helps evaluate. First is your team skill, the ability to work in a team. Okay, communication skills, your analytical ability, how you're putting forward your opinions, your critical thinking skills, how you're able to carry the group with you, how you're able to reason, your leadership skills, your initiation. Okay, how you're initiating the discussion, or if there is a problem, how you're taking the initiative to smoothen things out. So that your assertiveness, okay, when at the right place, not aggression, assertiveness, flexibility, open to other people's ideas, accepting other people's viewpoints, articulation and interpersonal skills, your creativity, and your ability to think on your feet. Okay, so something, thinking out of the box, quickly coming up with solutions, problem solving techniques to solve issues. All that is being judged, okay, when you are taking part in a group discussion. And that's what your contribution should be to a group discussion. what should be the desired contribution in a group discussion as a participant in a group discussion, whether it is for employment or whether it is at the workplace or in college in an academic scenario when you're having a group discussion in class, and you're being given relevance. Okay, it should be valid, to the point, sufficient length, don't hog the time, you be concise, precise and clear, and acceptable verbal and non-verbal communication. There should be clarity in what you're presenting. And then what is most important is the ability to relate and link your views with others. It should be organic. There should be a cohesion. It cannot be, the group discussion cannot be jointed. I say something, you say something, and there is no connection. There should be an interconnectedness, and one thing should lead to another, and be very objective. Okay, you cannot be personal, you cannot be emotional. We all have opinions, we all have our ideas and viewpoints, but then we cannot be personal. We have to take an objective stance. We should be open minded and present our viewpoints and be open to other people's opinions and ideas. And we must be able to appreciate and accept other people's ideas and viewpoints and opinions. Okay, how can you make a good impression? That is, you need to read a lot. You should be aware of a variety of topics, so that you should be able, we did see, it can be anything under the sun. It can be political, it can be social, it can be economical, it can be a current affair topic, something that's happening currently. So we should be widely read, and we should be abreast with what's happening around us. And then we should have relevant quotes, definitions, questions. You can have shock or dramatic statements also, that will gain attention, but don't do it for the sake of doing, only if it is relevant and it fits in. And then you can have facts, figures, and statistics, and relevant short stories, that is anecdotes that are relevant and add something to the group discussion. Don't do it for just for the sake of presenting it. And, like, it can be, like I said, political, social, economic, business, technology, sports, environment. It can be a variety of topics, so you should be well read in all these subjects. Okay, and then the types can be, it can be factual topics, it can be controversial topic, it can be absurd abstract topics. Okay, and it can be a case study or an article based topic also. So we should, when we are preparing for group discussion, we need to take all this into consideration. Okay, and what is very important is how to summarize. It never leave the discussion, group discussion, hanging in the air without summarizing. So, or be very aware of the time that has been given to you, and try to summarize it, if when you feel that the time is getting over. And how do you do that? You Like we said earlier, avoid raising new points. When you're summarizing a discussion, you should not bring in a new point that was not discussed. And avoid stating only your viewpoint. Don't ever do that, because initiation of the group discussion and summarizing a group discussion fetches you additional points. But then we have to be very careful what we are going to do when we are doing those two things. Avoid dwelling on one aspect of the group discussion. Make sure all the points are covered. Keep it brief, keep it concise. For that, you must be involved in the group discussion throughout. Only then can you summarize effectively and incorporate all the important things that came out from the group discussion, whether you agree with it or you don't agree with it. And don't add anything else once a person has summarized. We said that once a person has summarized, you have no reason to add anything else. But then what do you call, if you want to add anything else, it is only because if you want to add anything, it is only because the person who has summarized has left a major point out, or has summarized, only then can you add. May I say that this was also part of the group discussion. Only then, otherwise you don't add once a person has wrapped up the group discussion. So let us quickly summarize, students, what we learned today. Group discussion is a very effective technique that you must imbibe, and that's why we insist that you start practicing from the first semester, so that you have 6 semesters to do it academically as well as get ready for your employment, because in both scenarios it's very, very important. Okay. And from us, since you're in the first semester, I will talk about group discussion also from the for study. Its importance from a study standpoint. It plays a vital role in understanding the topic when you have group discussion on various subjects related to your subject, to your optionals. Okay, discussing a topic in a group with friends or classmates will help in learning the topic better, understanding it, comprehending it better. Okay, group discussions on topics involve sharing of learning by the participants in the group. Okay, and it benefits all the participants. You learn, if you missed a point, you pick it up. Okay, or by presenting your the topic becomes more clearer. So that is the benefits when you are doing in the when you're doing group discussion in the academic scenario. Students what do you call have different methods of learning, but when you are discussing a topic together, what happens is it reinforces the learning that has happened. Okay, and you also acquire points or perspectives on the topic that you have missed. Okay, so what group discussion does in academics is it increases your understanding of the subject or a lesson. It helps generate more ideas about the topic when you discuss it with your friends. Okay, or when you have group discussion in class, it lets you know about your mistakes and weaknesses, and it helps you correct. Okay, if you have grasped a concept wrong, or you have not understood a concept, then in the group discussion you can rectify it. Okay, and it also helps build your self confidence, because you're working in a small group. You are articulating your ideas about the topic, and it gives you confidence when you're working with your friends, and then it becomes an arena for you to develop your communication skills, your subject knowledge, and also build up your non-verbal communication. All right. Also, it helps you become effective communicators of the subject, because subject knowledge is very important. We do say communication skills is important, but then if you don't have the necessary subject knowledge, then it is not it doesn't help you at all. What are you going to communicate if you don't have the required knowledge? Okay, so the subject knowledge becomes concretized, and you develop your subject and become thorough in it, and that makes you an effective learner and communicator. And also it develops listening skills. You become an active listener, because now you are working in a group. You need to listen to other people's viewpoints and ideas, and when you're listening, you're also learning. Okay, and then very important, when you work in a group, it polishes your study skills. Okay, and also it helps you prepare for the examination. Okay, so it is very important that you practice or work in groups, have group discussions with your classmates, and develop the skills of working together in a group, because it's going to go a long way in helping you succeed in life. Thank you, students. Take care and stay safe.